Hey guys, welcome to Akosu Alive. Today we are going to be talking about Dear Nice Girl. Dear Nice Girl, which is here's the back cover actually. Let me show that as well. This is the favorite. You guys love the back cover. I appreciate all of the compliments. But yeah, today we're talking about Dear Nice Girl, which is one of our featured Amakosua motivational quote books, which I talk about all the time, and you guys should already know this. Say it with me: 50 quotes, 50 passages explaining each quote, and blank pages throughout the book to write down the thoughts that spark from reading your quotes. So I am coming on here to specifically talk about answer a question that Amelia had in her rap and review, which is on my IG feed. Watch that if you haven't already. But she did a rap and review, and in her review, one of her questions was, updating how I navigate niceness. And specifically how to navigate niceness when you don't have the support system that I often talk about and that I especially talk about in Dear Nice Girl. So I want to definitely address that to the best of my ability. So with that being said, I am, at a point or at a place now that I'm a business owner, a mother, a wife. I have had to adjust to the world, right? Because one of the words that Amelia uses, to describe nice or go into that word is it being associated, being used in a minimizing way. And that is the most relatable to what shines through in the book. And I've had to basically adjust how I approach people, how I, discipline myself, how I navigate my pathological niceness within this world that, from my experience, latches onto that to attack it. And I can I can relate it to being too aggressive, right? It's like you need to take the time to accept that I would say, constructive criticism. I would say constructive criticism. You have to sit down, take it, and understand how to move through it. It's so funny. I had a consultation, a ghostwriting consultation with one of my clients, and she was like, I can be in my bubble and I can, think about myself this way. But when I have to enter the real world, when I have to interact with other people, I need to understand all of the things that come with being who I am in order to navigate the world, navigate my society. And that is pretty much exactly what I've had to do. So once I became a businesswoman, I've had to navigate being like my father and being like my mother. And the funniest thing for me is just, accepting that my father was respected because of his demeanor and aggressiveness and tone. And it's really even deeper than that, but I don't really think I have the time to go into that because he was an African man. My mother was an African woman, and those dynamics, they were born in the 60s. My dad was born in the 50s. So those dynamics influenced, who I am. And now we're in a society where the roles of women are totally different from when my mom was growing up. And although I didn't necessarily like the demeanor that my dad had because it wasn't comfortable to be around, it is the dynamic balance that I had to tap into. And so if you don't have a support system, you need to understand, okay, I, want to treat people this way, or I want to present and project myself this way. But the connotations behind that aren't necessarily, helping me or keeping me, you know, in a place to grow. And so once you identify that, you need to find what your dynamic balance is. And you need to understand that how you see yourself is a lonely journey. And that's okay. That's where the self-love comes into play. And so I've had to find my dynamic balance within being a nice girl. And writing this book forced me to do that. As Amelia said, you know, she says that I took a position, which I did. I took a position because the one thing that is authentic is my niceness. However, when I'm presenting myself to the world, Akosua has had to adjust according to who she's dealing with, who she's talking to, what she's trying to accomplish, and you know, in the spaces that I've created to be able to just be too nice, I'm able to control that in a more compact way where everyone isn't, you know, leeching. It feels like leeching onto that kind of weakness, you know, to show another light in a more aggressive tone, which, you know, the duality for me, I've figured out the balance and I'm still working on it. You have to adjust different relationships that you may have not even realized, you know, okay, this isn't actually reciprocal. This, you know, I may have been overbearing with being nice and it's not constructive. It's not constructive to either party in terms of this relationship. So I hope that makes sense, but I'll also end it off, you know, to the nice girl, the nice guy. In Amelia's rap and review, she's like, you know, I could literally take off the nice girl part and replace it with nice girl man and, you know, nice this, nice that. Like, it's not just a one, you know, one thing. It's actually pretty complex, which is why I had to create a space. And that leads me to my husband's book, For the Hustler. He has a quote. The last quote in his book is "Talk your shit" with a big ass exclamation point. And I have really leaned into that, and like, I'm here to talk my shit too as a nice girl, and you guys are here for the ride. So yeah, I would say speak up for yourself, because in positions where you self-identify as the nice blank, whatever, and you know that the world sees you as that, okay, so what do you got to say? Like, what you here for? You know what I'm saying? And for me, I've, you know, been able to live in that, and I've had to navigate that on a relationship basis, you know, to reel it in. Like, it's not necessary all the time, and that's okay. But I'm still that bitch, right? In her rap and review, she said, be that bitch. I'm still that bitch. But the dynamic balance has to be there. And that's actually one of the quotes that opens up why every pregnant woman should write a book. So yeah, I'll leave that there. I'm definitely excited. These questions are awesome. And they open me up to, you know, what you guys are thinking about when you read the book. And yeah, it's amazing to see the power that this book has brought to myself as well as to people who can relate to it. Yeah, so with that being said, you guys can purchase Dear Nice Girl at amakosua.com/nice girl. If you're watching this on IG, you can find that link in my bio, and I'll also post a link to this video. And if you haven't already, you can order my latest book, Why Every Pregnant Woman Should Write a Book. You can get that at amakosua.com/woman. And with that purchase, you get a free self-publishing consultation with us at Amakosua. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.